It was a typical Saturday morning in the quiet suburb of Maplewood, Illinois. The sun was just beginning to peek through the clouds, casting golden rays over the trimmed lawns and white fences that lined the neighborhood. For Jessica Carter, it was her favorite day of the week, when she could finally tackle the little home projects that had been piling up. Jessica was in her early 30s, recently divorced, and raising her 5-year-old son Tyler. Life hadn't been easy, but she had built a new routine, one that included a part-time job, mom duties, and some much-needed self-care. Hiring a nanny, especially a male one, had been an unconventional choice. But Marcus Davis had come highly recommended. He was in his late 20s, patient, intelligent, and had an easy charm that made Tyler adore him from day one. That morning, Jessica was reorganizing the garage. She wore an old pair of denim shorts and a loose t-shirt tied in a knot at the waist. With her long blonde hair pulled into a messy bun and grease on her hands, she looked like someone who had traded glamour for grit, and she loved it. The garage was cluttered with half-used paint cans, holiday decorations, gardening tools, and a few childhood keepsakes she hadn't had the heart to throw away. Lost in the rhythm of her task, she bent down to pick up a fallen wrench, unaware that someone was approaching. The door creaked. "Morning, Jess." Marcus's deep voice broke the silence. Startled, Jessica turned too quickly, hitting her head on the low shelf above. "Ouch," she winced, rubbing her head. Marcus stepped in, concern etched on his face. "You okay? I didn't mean to scare you. Tyler's still napping, so I thought I'd check if you needed help." Jessica laughed softly, still holding her head. "Just caught me off guard, that's all. And thanks actually. I could use an extra hand." Marcus smiled, stepping closer. His tall frame filled the small space, and the scent of his cologne mixed with the cool air in the garage. Jessica suddenly became aware of her messy appearance. As they began working side by side, organizing tools, moving boxes, and wiping down shelves, their conversation flowed effortlessly. They talked about childhood memories, old music, favorite movies, discovering common ground they hadn't explored before. Jessica had always seen Marcus as just a kind presence for Tyler, but now she was noticing the calm steadiness in his voice, the way he moved with purpose, and how he listened, truly listened, when she spoke. Marcus handed her a screwdriver. Their fingers brushed. Jessica paused, her cheeks warming. "Thanks," she said quietly. He looked at her for a moment, eyes searching hers. "You ever miss having someone around to help with all this stuff?" She sighed, leaning against the workbench. "More than I admit. But I've gotten used to doing things on my own." Marcus nodded. "You're strong, Jess. But even the strongest people deserve support." The words hung in the air, thick with unspoken emotion. Jessica wasn't sure how to respond. For months, she had suppressed any feelings that didn't involve her son's well-being. She hadn't let herself feel seen or cared for, not like this. They went back to work, a little quieter now, the tension between them palpable but not uncomfortable. As Jessica bent down again to pick up a bin of screws, Marcus instinctively reached to steady her. "Careful," he said, his hand on her back. She stood up slowly, facing him. Their eyes locked. There was no more denying it. Something had shifted. Jessica broke the silence. "This is weird, right?" Marcus chuckled. "A little. But not bad weird." They stood there in the garage, sunlight filtering through the windows, dust particles dancing in the air like quiet witnesses. Jessica wasn't sure what would come next, but for the first time in a long while, she didn't feel alone. She felt understood. The sound of little footsteps interrupted the moment. Tyler had woken up and was calling for his mom. Jessica smiled. Back to reality. Marcus nodded, stepping back. "Let's finish this later." That afternoon passed like any other, but there was a current of anticipation beneath the surface. Over the next few weeks, Marcus and Jessica found more reasons to spend time together. Sometimes it was under the guise of fixing a leaky faucet or painting Tyler's room. Other times it was late-night chats in the kitchen after Tyler had gone to sleep. Their bond deepened, not in a rush, but with sincerity. Jessica learned that Marcus had dreams of becoming a teacher, and that he had taken nanny jobs to support his younger sister's education. Marcus admired Jessica's strength and devotion, and the way she never let her circumstances dim her spark. They cooked meals together, celebrated small wins, and slowly, their lives began to intertwine. One rainy evening, as thunder rolled outside and the house was wrapped in silence, Marcus found Jessica in the living room, curled up with a book. He hesitated in the doorway, watching her for a moment. "I know I'm just the nanny," he began, voice quiet. "But this feels like more." Jessica looked up, heart racing. She closed the book slowly. "You're not just anything, Marcus." He walked in, sat beside her, their knees touching. The storm outside was nothing compared to the whirlwind of emotions swirling between them. "What do we do now?" she whispered. "We take it slow," he replied. "But we don't ignore it." And they didn't. Over time, their quiet moments grew louder, fuller. Tyler noticed how his mom smiled more. How Marcus became more than just his caretaker. He was family. Marcus even started teaching Tyler how to read and introduced him to classic science fiction, igniting a spark of curiosity in the little boy. Eventually, the garage became more than a place of tools and dust. It became a symbol of the moment everything began to change. A place where Jessica's walls began to fall, where vulnerability met trust, and where a simple surprise turned into something meaningful. Jessica often thought back to that morning. Bent over in the garage, caught off guard. She had no idea how much her life was about to shift. But looking back, she was grateful. Because sometimes the unexpected moments, those you don't prepare for, are the ones that rewrite your story in the most beautiful ways.